Welcome to The View From Here, a podcast where we uncover the turning points, pressure moments, and the identity shifts that shape high achievers into who they are today. This show is for people who've built impressive lives on paper, but now their real story sits in the moments no one sees. The pivots, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs, and the internal rewiring that changes their trajectory. The View From Here is about perspective, the one you earn only by living it. Not all leadership is loud and noticeable at first. Some of it is lived quietly, and Belinda Kirkwood's story reflects exactly that. It isn't defined by titles or being in front of house. It's shaped by the quiet responsibilities of holding something for a long time, through seasons most people never see. For over 20 years, Belinda and her husband Ben have stewarded Beach Restaurant in Byron Bay, Australia, navigating growth, partnership, pressure, and reinvention. But the chapters that reshaped her most weren't business milestones. They were the moments where life asked her to reassess what truly mattered. Motherhood changed her identity profoundly, especially after the birth of her children, which were born prematurely. Standing so close to fragility redefined her relationship with health, control, presence, and perspective. From that point on, nothing was taken for granted. Belinda carries herself with a calm steadiness under pressure, holding the unseen weight that business owners rarely share, while learning, slowly and deliberately, to let go of control. Leadership has become less about being needed and more about building something solid from the inside out. Today, fulfillment looks simple, yet prioritized. Family around the dinner table, conversation, presence, and home. Her perspective, shaped by longevity, responsibility, identity shifts, and lived fragility, is grounded, generous, and quietly powerful. This is a conversation about holding responsibility without hardening, leading without needing to be seen, and understanding that our lives are always shaped by how and who we've become. Let's begin.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for doing that.
How does that
It's a lot
feel?
better than what I did.
How does it feel having
sounds
someone cultivate your words that you gave?
Yeah. No, it's I was listening to it as you said, and you put it together beautifully, actually.
Thank
All
you.
the little bits that I sort of put, and that's what I said when I sent it to you. It was like I've just put it into little point forms, so then you can play with it. So, and I think you've captured everything that I said. Yeah. And the way it all came together was good. And the things that mean the most to me are the family.
Yeah.
And the responsibility of holding a business and staff, looking after staff as well.
Yeah.
And the responsibility of keeping everybody happy. It's always very challenging. It's never easy. You never do the right thing. They don't see it from your point of view. We don't see it from their point of view. So it's always just that balance of, I think the main thing for me that I've learned over the years is to listen to people.
Yeah.
With what I do mainly, which is the weddings and the events, is that I sit back and listen and I get to know people, and then I guide them in a way that I feel they need to be guided, depending on their personality and their relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like over the years that's something that I have mastered in what I do, is I just listen to people and then make it all come together for them.
Yeah. And where do you think that was first established? Do you think that goes way back to the very start? Do you think you naturally had that as a personality characteristic? Or
I think I've always had that in the role that I do at the restaurant. I feel like for me, it's very natural for me to look after people, to make them happy, to have something that I've always wanted people to walk out of the restaurant and just go, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So whatever capacity that is, whether they've come for coffee, whether they come through the door dining, whether they come for a big event, a milestone event, whether it's a wedding, a birthday, an anniversary, or whatever it is, that's always been our philosophy, is that treat people like they're coming into your home.
Yep.
And that's what we speak to staff about now a lot, is treat people like your friends, treat them like you're coming into their home. and then guide them along the way, because you can get lost in hospitality sometimes where people sort of overpower you and then you lose your way. So you've got to be very confident with what you do, and you've got to be very confident with the way that you do it. So then you sort of like guiding them, but they don't feel like they're being guided.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense. And that's good hospitality.
Yep. Well, it's the soft sell, isn't it? It's being authentic.
Totally.
Present.
Yeah.
But helping to create and support the business.
The business. Yeah. And the customers and the staff. So it all comes together. It's not just the food, it's not just the service, it's not just the location. It all comes together. And we always say that the location is a bonus for us.
Which, by the way, the location you're in is one of the most premium locations.
Yes. And we never take that for granted. We know we're lucky. We know that we've got an iconic spot.
Yeah.
And it's a spot that's been there for a very long time, and it's treasured by Byron Shire.
Yeah.
And its community. So we never take it for granted. We realise how lucky we are.
There is a lot of restaurants that have prima donna bits of real estate, but just rely solely on that.
Yeah.
And then dilute all the other aspects because they know that that location alone seems to just bring droves of people in every year.
Yeah.
But I think something that I'm hearing from you is that you don't just rely on that. That's the bonus.
That's the bonus.
You've doubled down on all the other
And
formulas.
we learnt that when we had our first restaurant in town in Marble Street.
Which was?
We bought it as Toscani's, and then we morphed it into Dish. And we said that, or the architect that designed it said to us, we need to just bring everybody in.
Yep.
And food service is the main thing to do that.
Yep.
And of course the setting.
Yep.
So that's what we always say, everything's got to be on point. And when they look up, that's a bonus. Don't just rely on that.
Yep. And let's just rewind back even a little bit further about where you began in this industry, because obviously we're looking at a product that you've created with Ben today, being Beach Restaurant, and it's very diverse. You do weddings, you do lots of different types of functions, plus you have general public can come in, plus you have the kiosk and all those other elements. So you've really built that, but that doesn't just happen overnight.
No.
And that didn't just establish in that particular business. So if we fast forwarded back to fresh young Belinda, not that you're not young now, but you're ageless, but if we went right back to the beginning, were you always in hospitality?
No. I was in the clothing industry, fashion industry.
No.
So I studied at a college called Marsden in Adelaide. And I did clothing manufacturing. So I was in the office. The designer had put all the designs together, hand me the designs, and then I'd do all the specs for zips and buttons and embroidery. And it was when we used to make garments and fabric and then do all the embroidery in Australia. So it was a long time ago in Melbourne. So I studied in Adelaide, and then while I was studying, I worked in a pub. And the pub had a really nice restaurant attached to it. So I quickly went from the bar into the restaurant because that's the bit that I liked. And really enjoyed hospitality, but wanted to progress through the career of fashion. So I moved back to Melbourne after I finished studying, and then started for a company called Cherry Lane.
Yes.
I don't know whether you remember Cherry Lane.
I remember Cherry
They had
Lane.
shops on every corner in Victoria.
Yep.
With the little cherries, and they started the sweaters, it was all very t-shirty fabric, lots of sort of relaxed clothing. So we had a office in Footscray.
Yep.
And we travelled to. So when I first started, we started making a lot of the stuff in Australia, and it was just the start of China coming into play. So we started sort of like about 18 months after I started with the company, we started traveling to China and sourcing zips and embroidery. And we found very quickly that when we started that the specs had to be perfect because you couldn't go and see it. And we received sort of tops with like sleeves down to here and tops up to here. So we had a lot of like learning experiences, lots of learning disasters, but slowly the factories in Victoria started closing.
Yeah.
But that was one of the fun bits about starting in that industry at that time, is because we had like all the people that used to do all the cutting were a mum and pop in their garage in Northcote, Sydney Road, like all those areas in Melbourne. And it was fun because you'd go out there, you'd get your little coffee cups read.
Yeah.
You'd spend hours with them.
Awesome.
They make you lots of cakes and sit there. And so you'd go through all the specs, and Dad would be cutting and Mum would be sort of fussing around and cleaning the floor. And so it was really nice. And I think I saw sort of what people could do together in a business and how they run the businesses, and that it sort of, I hadn't even thought about running a business with a partner at that stage. But you sort of draw on it as you sort of go through the first stages of the business.
Yeah.
And then I met Ben when I was in Melbourne in the clothing industry. He was in another industry. We were friends for a really long time, and then he moved to Sydney. And then we started dating not long after that, and we commuted for a long time. It was when Compass was around, so it was like $30 to get on a plane with a paper bag. So we used to commute. We had a long distance relationship for about 2.5, 3 years.
Yep.
We both focused on our career. And then there came a stage where I was then at this stage working for a company called Bolle, sunglasses, but we started an après sport range. So I was in that side of it. All of our products were made overseas at that stage. So it was just a matter of getting it all sorted and putting it all together. And we didn't do any manufacturing in Australia. It was all done overseas. So I was just in the head office, just putting it all together and getting it all organised. And then there came a time where we were like, well, are you going to come back to Melbourne, or will I move to Sydney? So the company I worked for started up an office in Sydney.
Yeah.
And then I went into sales. So I started selling all the clothing in Sydney.
Awesome.
And then about 8 months in, I was like, I don't want to live in this city. I don't like it. It was like 6 o'clock. You'd leave in the morning to go to work. You get back at 7 o'clock at night, and it was just like traffic, too much. So that's when Ben asked me to marry him, and then we decided that maybe we should try hospitality.
Yeah.
So we left the day after our wedding and spent 3 years in the Caribbean in hospitality.
Wow.
And realised that we loved it. We always wanted to come back to Byron because this is our first holiday destination in Byron. So, and the rest is history. So
amazing.
Yeah.
But I love how even back then you saw the power of working together and creating family and creating that familiar, safe space and environment that draws people in.
Yeah.
And then obviously changing industries, but learning sales in your first one, all of those skills has helped you.
It's all come together.
Yeah.
So whether it be from hospitality or from the clothing industry, it all comes together.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing with running a business is you just got to be true to yourself and true to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of, you can't get too ahead of yourself. You can't get too up on yourself. That's a word.
Yeah.
You've just got to try and stay as level as you can, because there's so much. I explain my days is that I get out of bed in the morning and I've got like a thing of sand, those punching bags, those old punching bags that sort of like you blow up and the sand's in the bottom.
Yep.
You get up and you sort of straight and you stand straight and you're ready to go, and then all of a sudden it goes bang and you just, and then you come back up again. And it's just like the whole day sort of like pivoting constantly, and just sort of working through what you can and how you can, the best way you can.
And how do you manage that? Because that's a skill again in itself.
Yeah.
Being able to multitask and juggle lots of different things and personalities and people and family, yourself, your partner.
Self-care.
And what do you do for that?
Self-care for me is exercise. So I used to run every day. And as soon as I'd get up, the kids used to say to me, if I was a bit cranky, they'd be like, did you not run this morning? So it's like, for me, I need to have that exercise. I need my heart to start, sweating and beating for about an hour every morning before I get into my day. And I find if I do that, I can do anything.
Yep. And then if you're throwing a curveball first thing in the morning, how do you not react and act? Like, what is your driver behind that?
I think you always react, but you do it by yourself as much as you can. You don't do it in front of people, or you do that like behind the doors and just then take a minute. And it's not always like that. Sometimes it's just an easy sort of like, I can do this. It's all good. It's not that bad. But a lot of the time it's just like just quietly under your breath, and then you breathe, and then you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And off you go.
Yep.
There's always something that comes up, like this morning, staff member not turning up for the kiosk, and then you've got to try and find other people, and you've got to be cautious of people that worked last night and they didn't work and how much they've worked, and we've just come out of a busy season. So you've just got to think of all the different scenarios and who the best person would be to pull into that, you know, off the cuff moment.
Yeah.
So, and with the restaurant as well, it's not just the staff, it's the suppliers, it's the cleaners, it's like there's a whole lot of things that come together. And that's what we always say is there's so many moving parts in hospitality, and always other businesses as well, that you've just got to make sure that they're all coming together at the same time.
Yeah. It's like its own ecosystem, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But then your superpower of knowing your staff, taking time to be curious about who they are as a person allows you to play to their strengths and potentially their weaknesses in those moments. So you're not going to call a staff member who doesn't cope with last minute
Totally.
requests.
Or that's worked late last night or has had lots of shifts over the last 4 weeks. So it's sort of like keeping in mind the ones that will be able to do the job when they get there and be happy about doing it.
Yeah. And being in a business with your partner, roller coaster?
Always.
Relationships are a roller coaster.
But then once again, don't overreact to things. So, and I found that with the kids, is like if something happened, I'd never overreact in that minute. I'd always be like, oh, what did they do that for? Why did they do that? Or why did they speak like that? But then I'd sort of take it with me, and then the following day in a quiet moment, I'd be like, I really didn't like the way you spoke to me, or why did you do that? Like, what was the reasoning for you to do that? If something happened at school, or I wouldn't do that, right? Because you just don't get anywhere. Because then you end up screaming and yelling and nothing's solved. So it's just like, why? What was that for?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Can you explain to me what that was all about? So it's in a calming moment.
Yeah. I think that's a real superpower of yours, though, because I've now heard it with your staff, with suppliers, with work, with partner, with kids. Where do you think that comes from? Because that's not necessarily a common leadership tool. We'd like to say they all have it, but
yeah, I'm not really sure. And it's not, sometimes I don't always do it.
You're
sometimes, and Ben cops most of it.
Of course I do.
So sorry, Ben. But I just think it's learnt over the years.
Yeah. Well, either parent like that?
Probably my dad, I would say, was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Just very calm and collected, and always sort of talked through a lot of stuff with us. And probably dad, I would say.
Yeah. So good role model to see it displayed very early on.
Yeah, my parents have been really good role models. Really good role models. They're very together and very in love and very stable, and so I feel like we have had a very loving and caring childhood.
Yeah. And obviously that's then what you've brought into your life.
Yeah.
And being able to work with
our kids are just they're the greatest achievements that we have.
Yeah.
And they're continually growing, and it's just beautiful to watch them grow and turn into little young adults. It's really nice to see. So
awesome.
And we've both got really good relationships with both of them. We feel so it's really nice.
And how did you juggle? Let's go back to that point where you've got these 2 young children in running a business with your partner. It's a lot of balls
The
to
children
juggle.
spent a lot of time either lying under my desk or at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So, and we were lucky that the children were born sort of in between Dish and Beach. We had Dish and Beach for 2 years together. So the kids were really little at that stage. So Harrison would I'd just plonk him on the bar at Dish, and the staff would feed him food. The kitchen staff would just feed him food constantly, and he'd just sit there just like in his little bassinet. Take them to meetings. He was always like strapped to me. He was in the corner in the pram if I had to work on the floor or whatever it was. So you just make it work.
Yeah.
You just we did have one of the ladies that used to work for us. She looked after Harrison a lot. She loved looking after Harrison.
Yeah.
And so Harrison spent a lot of time with Kim and Al, and she was amazing at that time for me. She really helped me a lot. And then when Charlie came along, it was Beach and Dish. So it was, I wasn't so much on the floor at that stage. I was behind the scenes. I was doing all the wages and books and just all the behind the scenes bits and pieces, rosters and reconciliations, and sort of running the office. And Ben was still on the floor at that stage. But the kids just learnt to come with us, and that was the beauty of having Beach at that time, because there was milk crates and sand dunes that the kids would forever play in. So they were building structures out of milk crates, and so they spent a lot of time just playing in the sand dunes. And
beautiful.
Yeah. They took their bikes when they were old enough to take bikes, and used to ride through the caravan park and meet people in the caravan park and play with them. And so that was their upbringing.
You made it work.
Yeah.
You made it work, the situation that you had in front of you, because you had no family around.
There was no family here.
So it was either this is what we do or we don't do it at all.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
So, and I think the children now have taken that on board, and they've seen us work forever. So that's what they've taken into their adult life now as well.
Yep. So they're both quite career orientated too.
Yeah.
But have a good balance as well, because you've also displayed
of course.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. And did you ever experience that typical mum guilt because you were working?
Always.
In a time where a lot of mums, let's look at the generation.
Yeah.
A lot of mums didn't work.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that?
I was always feeling mum guilt, but at the same time, we had a business to run. So it was just sort of, I'd feel guilty for a short time, and then I'd just move on, and just, because I also loved what I do.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference. It wasn't, I never wake up going, I've got to go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
It never feels like that for me. It's just like, if I've got something to do, I get in there and I do it.
Yeah. And was that an intentional decision when your men decided to have kids, that we were going to have career and kids, and was it conscious?
Because I actually didn't want to have children.
Okay.
So it wasn't ever a thing for me.
Yep.
And then we fell pregnant, and then
surprise.
That's what it was. So it was
best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, totally. But it was never something that I planned to do.
Yeah. So how did you navigate that in that moment then? Do you remember that moment of?
Yeah, I cried for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cried for a long time. But then I was like, well, it is what it is. It's supposed to be. So, and then that was the whole irony of the children being premature and in hospital for a long time. And that was like, wow. Okay.
Had to slow down.
Yeah, well, it was just more sort of, for me, it was like, well, obviously that's just the way it was supposed to be. I wanted to have a water birth in Mullum, and I ended up in intensive care in Brisbane.
Polar opposites.
So it was just like,
can we just describe the Mullum Hospital birthing suite was kind of very relaxed, very organic, very wholesome. And we're going back 20 plus years. So
23 years. Yeah. Harrison's 22. She was 23.
That style of birthing wasn't mainstream. It wasn't really talked about. And so therefore
more so then than it is now.
Well, true. Yeah.
So it was more so talked about and more accepted then than it is now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I had a friend of mine say to me about 4 months before Harrison was born, she said, because I was very like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, everything's planned. She's like, you know that sometimes it doesn't happen like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Of course
Swearing
it
at
does.
me.
So it was very, and that I will always remember her when I was sort of going up to Brisbane. It was like, okay, just remember what Penelope said. She said it doesn't always go to plan. Okay, it's all good. It's fine. I'll be all right.
You're so good at pivoting.
So yeah. Well, you kind of have to. Yeah. So that's what life's all about. Yeah. And if you panic about it, then you don't make the right decisions, I don't think.
Yep. Lose clarity.
Yeah. So I have days where I have sort of like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Are we doing the right thing? Is this all good? Is this what's supposed to be?
Yeah.
But then I kind of pull myself together quite quickly.
And what do you do? What's the thought process that goes behind how you pull yourself together in that moment? Is it conscious? Do you know what it is?
I don't think it's any given process. I think it's just talk through it.
To yourself or to Ben?
To myself mainly. And then just sort of like, not justify it, but sort of departmentalize it.
Yep.
And put it into little, how are we going to do it? Where does it look? How does it look? What happens if we don't do that? Do we do this? How does it work this way? How does it work that way? And sort of put it together like that.
Love it. Break it down into small
baby bites.
Yeah.
So it's like everything, you can't eat a massive big thing all at once. You've got to slow down and break it down. It's the same in life. It's just like, just break it all down, because then it's less daunting.
Sure.
And it's less scary. And it just helps you process everything.
So good. So good. But I love that there is a formula behind it, but it's such a naturally ingrained behavior now, because you've obviously practiced it over a really long time.
Yeah, and I'm learning to communicate. That's my thing for this year, is to talk more to people, because I hide a lot. Like I sort of hide behind a lot of stuff and don't communicate. Like it's all internal and inside. So to talk about the way I'm feeling, or how I think somebody's behaving, or how they're performing, or rather than just sort of walk past it. So now I'm sort of going to start to really talk about it.
And what's motivated you to work on that this year? Has something happened, or?
Sure, it's just something that I've sort of thought of for me to work on this year. Is just each year I have something that I sort of like, and I don't try and take it too far. It's just like, okay, this year for me is to run a half marathon with the kids.
Awesome.
In Melbourne, and to start my communication.
And so when it comes to communication, what sorts of things are you breaking that down into smaller increments, and what have you worked on this far, being 2 weeks in, because we're so far into the year?
I think for me it's just like at the restaurant, if I see something, I'll speak to someone about it rather than just letting it be and me doing it. It'll be sort of pulling people up a little bit on and taking accountability for things.
Yep.
And just trying to, rather than internalize it constantly, sort of talk about it, not make a big deal about anything, but just talk.
Yep. Using that same formula you said you used to use with the kids, where wait till it calms, then approach it, discuss it.
And that's what I like doing at the restaurant. Like if somebody's folding napkins or chef's doing something, I'll go and stand beside them and have a chat to them and talk about stuff.
Love that.
And I feel like that's a really good way to communicate.
Yeah. Do you think it helps being heavily involved in the business that you get more respect from your staff? Or works for and against?
I'm not sure about respect. I think it's more that you're there to hold people's backs and to help them.
Yep.
And when it gets like tough, or you're always there and they know that you've got them, it's like, it's okay. You can fall back a little bit if you need to. Like everybody has their times and their days and their periods where they're just feeling a bit flat or a bit unsure, so as long as they've got a steady hand to guide them and to just say, okay, we've got you, it's all good.
Yeah.
We're here for you. Whatever you need, we've got you.
Yeah.
Whether it's on a busy day, going in at 3:00 in the afternoon and smashing out 3 trays of cutlery for them so they don't have to do that, and then go and polish some glasses for them. Just that sort of like, just to be present, to help, to not take over, not be intimidating, but just be there to help them.
Approachable.
Yeah.
Be real.
Yeah.
Human.
Yeah.
Because I can see that there's a lot of big companies that I'm thinking of straight off the bat that I won't name, where they own it, they manage it and oversee it, but they're not in it. They're not on the ground as much as what you and Ben are.
Yeah, no, I feel like for us that's we're not a cookie cutter, we're not a set and forget. It's very organic, it's very personal, and it's very approachable and friendly.
I love that.
So we want a restaurant where you're eating good food, very good product, good staff, good service, but there's no arrogance.
Love that.
So everybody's very welcoming.
How do you stop arrogance from migrating in? Because it's not always.
I think it's just walk the talk, really, and just let the staff see you.
Yeah.
And let the staff hear you.
And how do you manage it with the staff who become arrogant, especially those in leadership roles?
You just speak to them, you talk to them, you guide them in a way that we would like people to see them, whether it's staff or the public. So, and I feel like it sort of comes to the surface quite quickly. And we sort of nip things in the bud pretty quickly as well. We sit down and talk to people. We get sort of people's different perspectives because not everybody always gets on all the time.
Nope.
But the thing at work, I think also that sort of gets a bit confused sometimes is that you're not really at work to make friends.
No.
Like you don't have to like everybody, but you have to be respectful. So I think sometimes that gets a bit lost along the way. So we're constantly having sort of meetings with people and sitting down and talking to them and asking them how they feel and what they want and how they want it and that sort of stuff. We need to do a lot more of that as well.
Yeah, that was my next question. What do you do anything with your staff to build that communication? Do you do any leadership-based programs?
We have done a few along the way. We haven't done one for a couple of years. We've had some people come and talk to them and then sort of work out all the dynamics of different people so they can work out and tell us what they feel, that we're not involved in that. They go in there with this person and it's all our leadership staff. And they do little role plays and little things, and then she writes a report for us. So
is that the DISC assessment?
No, I can't remember the lady's name actually. She's from Sydney and she's been doing it for a really long time. She does it for a huge amount of corporate companies.
Yeah,
she's very good.
Yeah, there's a DISC assessment that is a tool, and actually I use it, and it does profiling on a multitude of different levels with a leader. And it shows them where their highest level of skill set is and where their lowest level is, and not to shame or blame, but so that they understand.
They can learn from it.
Correct. Why they're reactive in those situations and how they can redefine tools to help them manage it better. So it sounds like something similar is what she's doing. And what does, because I think leadership's a big one that keeps coming up in what we're talking about. What do you think is the key elements to being a good leader?
I think listening, not overreacting, and walk the talk.
Which are all the key things that have come up in every area of your life. Because
Yeah.
one thing I'm noticing is you are consistent. It's not, I do this at work, but I act this way at home.
It's all very similar.
You're very
quite
conscious.
boring, really.
No.
Same.
No, I love it. No, I think that's you living it very authentically. It's not that you put on this work persona and turn up one way and then come home and you're another.
No. It's all the same.
You are, this is you as a person.
Yeah.
This is you completely and wholeheartedly living.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's why it's so, I don't want to use the word easy, but allowing you to be so consistent because it's completely genuine.
And it just comes, it's just what I do. It's not, I'm not trying to be somebody who I'm not. I'm not trying to pretend to be somebody. It's just who I am and what I do.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think I'm pretty lucky because I've got, I love what I do.
Yeah.
We've built a really nice business, a really good business. There's always challenges, of course, but
That's
It's not,
business.
that's just business. And I feel like you learn the most when it's more challenging rather than when it's not challenging, because you sort of swim along and everything's really good. But when you get some sort of challenge, it's always buckling in. You see everything, you evaluate everything, and then you move on and you steer the ship through.
And you learn. And you
learn
grow
constantly.
Yeah.
So, and then our life at home is pretty good. It's pretty easy. It's pretty non-confrontational. It's just, we just live a really good life. I mean, in Byron, we're so lucky. So we're out in nature. We've got, it's just
beautiful
we're
backdrop.
lucky. So it's just, I think, just doing what we do. We're lucky that we have what we have and where we live.
And I know we mentioned the challenges and hardships in business, and I want to go back to COVID because I think that's a time a lot of people in hospitality, well, in any industry, but especially hospitality, because you rely on people coming in.
Yeah.
How did that land?
We had to measure tables. We had to put things on the floor. You can't stand there. You got to stand there. It was like, you look back on it now and you're like, what
the hell
was that?
Doesn't seem real, does it?
Yeah, not at all.
It's like something from a movie.
But it wasn't just the time of COVID. It was the aftermath of COVID, because we found that all the professional hospitality people moved into other areas. That word pivot is, from COVID. But a lot of people went on to other professions, and we lost a lot of that really wholesome old school hospitality. And of course, because we couldn't get anyone from overseas, we were just pulling anybody that we could. And that was a really challenging time.
What would you say is the percentage of your staff that come from overseas to work for you?
Now?
Yeah. Or generally?
90%.
There you go. So that gives some context that COVID and the borders being shut and not having access to those staff.
I think we worked out the other day that Ben and I are the only two Australians, born and bred in Australia.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that's what we were talking about the other day. And I was like, no, that can't be right.
And do you think that that's because you're drawn to foreigners with their skill set in hospitality?
No.
Or you just think that's
what we've got.
The demographic that want to work in
That's what we've got.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, I don't know too many Australians really that work in hospitality. Especially in Byron, because obviously that's where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So so it's sort of like when we had Dish, most of our staff were Australian.
Wow, so a real change in that period of time.
Yeah. So it's and then the people that we grew up with at Dish that were a staff that we worked beside, they've all gone into different industries as well. So some of them, into the wine industry, some of them sort of gone back to teaching or whatever it is. They've sort of moved on into different industries.
Yeah. And I guess COVID, when you didn't have a job, you had to recreate.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. It's sort of, you look back on it now and you're just like, wow, how did that work? How did we all come out of that on the other side? And then the other thing that happened on the other side was we'd find staff, but then they couldn't find a home.
Which is a massive problem.
So it was
Byron.
massive. It was really big. So not so much anymore.
No.
In Byron, yes, but the outskirts, not so much.
Yep.
People can find homes pretty relatively easy. It's challenging because there's always a lot of people going for that home, but it's not like they can't. After COVID, there was just nothing available.
But let's give some context too. So Byron became this hub where a lot of city-based people moved, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, moved out of the cities because they could work remotely
and why would you
not have to travel to work every day.
So we didn't really have lockdowns as
not
such.
The same.
So and the weather was beautiful, so
people moved here.
And
let's just say the property prices went up astronomically, more than you could have ever
Yeah.
imagined,
Yeah.
when other places like Sydney were going down because people wanted out.
Yeah.
But then it bumped rental prices. Like people were buying houses sight unseen
Yeah.
and paying,
Yeah.
$5 million.
Ridiculous money.
Ridiculous money.
Yeah.
And the house wasn't even
Yeah.
that amazing. But so you can imagine that a hospitality worker on a minimum wage,
Yeah.
roughly,
Yeah.
couldn't afford to pay the rent that was being asked at that time because landlords knew they could get more. And I guess everyone was trying to make money to survive.
But there wasn't even really any houses available.
No.
So even so what we ended up doing was giving them our staff our house, so housing staff. And then we were like, oh, we'll find a place. We've been here for a long time. We know lots of people. We couldn't find anything. So we jumped from Airbnb.
Stayed in one of my Airbnbs.
So it was just like, and then we ended up finding somewhere for an astronomical amount of money to live for a year.
Yeah.
So, and then it all died down and staff could get housing. So we found that it was just that we bought another property in Suffolk and housed staff for a couple of years in there. And then we found that it was sort of like some staff had left and some were coming, but they were finding other properties and they didn't want to live in a staff house. And so we decided to sell that property.
Yeah. But again, pivoted, found ways around it, and still put your staff first. Like let's look at that. You moved out of your house to hope that you could find somewhere to live, to house your staff with 2 kids still at home at that point. Let's not forget. They're not at home. Yeah. Well, one is. But they weren't both at home at now. But they were then.
Yeah, they were.
Wow.
So when Ben first told me, I was just like, you did what? It's like, okay, great.
You go find somewhere else to live.
That's exactly what I said. You got to do it. You go find. And then he's like, oh, I can't find anything. I'm like, no shit.
Did I hear a stat the other day that most businesses take on average 10 years post-COVID to recoup the money that they would have made during that time, make up what they lost in that time, and have the growth capacity that they should have had? It's taking 10 years to bounce back. Would you say that's...
Yeah, well, we're 5 out now, aren't we? This is going into our 6th year now. So,
but really 4 since it finished.
Yeah, totally. Kind of. So I feel like we've got another year or so to go. It's definitely better than what it was. I feel like it's definitely, but what's happened now is that the costs of running a business have gone up.
Yep.
So whether it's from government taxes to wages to product to everything.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up. So redefining the business to manage those costs and to work all that out and looking at everything in the budgets and making sure it's all working. And it's sort of just what it means is it's just decreased the profit margin that you have in a hospitality business. That's all.
And room for error is now less.
Yeah. A lot less.
Yep. So really doubling down on...
That's why it's just a matter of tightening up and just... every dollar counts and you've just got to really manage it really closely.
And so this is great insight because we started off talking about the ecosystem of the people in the business, and now we're looking at the financial aspect of running a business. This is how layered it is.
Yeah.
So staff come and they're stressed about something that's happening in their life and you're doubling down to support them because you need them to be able to run the business. Yeah. But in the background, you're also looking at the numbers that are required to be met.
Yeah, everything.
So that you can keep those doors open.
Yeah, so it's a constant.
Yeah.
And you can't take your eye off it because one little mistake, one little over order, it just blows all the costs out.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of businesses close down because of mismanagement. I think that happens in any industry where you have a passion, but a passion doesn't always mean you're going to be a great operator, a great leader. Yeah. And that's why I asked you that question about leadership, because I think that's why you and Ben are so successful, is your leadership is so strong and you are very good at juggling a lot of things, which are all the skills needed to run a business and have a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just run the business and be...
And it's a constant. It doesn't stop. So it's a constant, whenever you wake up, you've got messages of something somewhere along the way, whatever it may be.
Yep.
So, but it's just part of it. So I feel like it's just part of our life and it's ingrained in us now.
What does sustainability mean to you? Because I talk a lot about sustainability and I'm interested from your perspective because I think you've got this really beautiful balance where you have created sustainability and longevity.
I think for me, Ben always used to say, you've got to slow down. We're running a marathon, not a short run. Like you don't need to go so fast. You need to slow down.
Not Usain Bolt.
No. So I think sustainability, there's many parts and many moving parts of sustainability in our business. It's sustaining, not burning people out.
Yep.
Because that's a big one in our industry. It's just, and especially when you're short-staffed in a busy period. We've just gone through a summer where we were very short-staffed in the kitchen. And so there was a big fear of burning a few of our staff members out. So it's just like, you've got to be really careful and really aware of the fact that you need them, but you don't want them to burn out because you can see it when it starts to happen. And I'm a prime example because I'll just keep going. And then it'll be like, no, I'm learning as I get older to try and, not bring my computer home and don't look at it now, but
we won't say that the computer's set up over in the background there.
But I try really hard not to do that now.
Yeah, good. So
on
more
weekends
boundaries.
I do, of course, because I've got time just to play around on it and do some bits. But I try and very much keep that for office time.
Good.
It doesn't always happen, but I try. I'm very conscious of it now. So whereas before I wasn't. It was just constant.
Did you burn out?
I don't think I've ever got to a stage where I've burnt out as such.
Okay.
I lose my voice. That's my first go-to. I think as I keep pretty fit, very aware of what I consume, and just live quite sort of a level diet, consistent. I feel like I'm not sort of like that all the time. I'm very consistent with what I do. So I feel like burnout, not so much. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've sort of like, and I've got a very high threshold.
Yeah.
Like I'm a worker. I like to work. So I've got a very high threshold of working. For me, what my week looks like is very different to other people and what they see as a work week.
So is that something you've had to work on because your level of expectation then is very high of yourself and not transferring that onto others?
And I do that all the time.
Ah, okay.
I do that all the time.
So that's something to try. That's something to manage and work on.
That's something that I'm trying to work on as well, is to not expect that not everybody's the same as me. Yeah. So, and I find that very difficult. And I know, like for me, it's like I can't hide the way I feel. So it's very like
no poker face.
No poker face. So people definitely know how I'm feeling.
Yep.
So I've got to try and control that a lot, and I do control it a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't do it properly. But I feel like I'm not coming from a bad place. It's not like I'm a bad, nasty person that expects a lot. It's sort of like I do expect a lot from my staff. But I feel like, if you do 110, it just makes such a difference.
Sure. But do you think it's knowing that doing 110% of the time is unattainable, but knowing when there's seasons where that is required?
Correct. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, of course. And situations. It's not constantly. It's just little situations because at the end of the day, we are in hospitality.
Sure.
So it's like just to do that little bit extra for people, which doesn't really affect your day-to-day running of your life. Just a little bit extra, a little bit, like go and pick up something from a family member that wants to bring it to the restaurant. Just swing past their hotel or wherever they're staying. Yeah. Makes such a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. The 1%ers.
But just the tiny little 1%ers to make people feel relaxed and comfortable makes a big difference for when they walk through the door at the restaurant.
Yep.
And then also their whole experience.
Yeah. Tell me, how do you cope with conflict as a leader?
I don't think anyone likes conflict.
No, they don't.
I don't like it at all. And I think that's why I sort of move around it and then go and stand beside somebody after the fact and sort of talk to people rather than doing that head-on conflict.
Yep.
I
What
feel
about
like-
in your business dynamic with Ben? Would you say he's...
I think Ben's definitely better at it than I am.
Yep.
A lot
it's a
better.
good partnership
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. He's a lot more diplomatic than I am.
Okay.
I feel like I sort of hold everything in because I just would otherwise just blurt it all out. So I've got to hold a lot of stuff in, but then I sort of work out how to talk about it after.
Yeah. Whereas he's better.
He's better on the, he's a lot quicker than I am, and a lot sort of, he resolves things a lot quicker than I do.
Okay. So you can complement each
That's
other
where we
in that.
complement each other a lot.
He can fill that initial void where you like to step back and think, and then you can come in.
Yeah.
I love that dynamic. It's really interesting to see how a partnership, whether you're in a marriage and partnership in business or in a business partnership, understanding each other so well that you can complement and shift.
We complement each other all the time.
Yep. So it's not ganging up, but it's supporting in a collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes pressure off you too, knowing that he can step in at that point.
He can step in and do it. Yeah.
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 That's
and he's good at it. So, and the staff respect him for that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really nice environment you've created.
And it works for both of us because he works on all the financials and the budgets and the staffing, and then I do all the other side of it.
Yeah. And has that always been the roles that the two of you have played? Or has that changed over the time?
No, pretty much. It's grown as we've grown.
Yeah.
But it seems to work.
Yeah.
Seems to really work.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what do you see, what's the future hold? Can you see that hospitality is...
I think for me, it will always be whether it's hospitality or people, whatever that looks like. We're sort of starting to talk about that now. We don't really know. We're not really sure of what it's going to look like and how it's going to all unfold. But this year, I think, is a year that we'll sort of start making plans and talking about it and seeing where the next 10 years of our life will take us. I'm definitely not ready to stop in any capacity. Sure. I'm not really sure whether I ever will.
No.
But however that looks, or I mean, we want to get to a stage where we can do some traveling and even if it's just two parts of the year to go traveling, and that's where we want to get to. So however that will look, we're not quite sure yet.
Yeah. And you've just given me a great leadway there. Slowing down. How well do you, because you said that you are very fast paced and very on, how do you find slowing down?
I'm not really sure because I never really do it. At
least you're honest.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm doing some pottery. So awesome. I've started sort of doing that on the weekends in the afternoons just to slow down a bit and just play with my hands and be creative. And
awesome.
I've really enjoyed that. So that's sort of one way that I'd really like to start. Yeah. That's my sort of version of slowing down.
Yeah, no, but it's good. So you realise that it's not something that comes naturally to you, and you're not one to sit and binge watch a TV show or sit and meditate in the corner.
No. So
finding what works.
It's just finding something that works for me, and sort of maybe some gardening as well. I sort of get out in the garden, and then it's not fast enough for me. Like it's not like instant. Yeah. So I find that a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
I want to see it all just come together straight away, the way it sort of I want it to look. But
so would you say you're naturally a little impatient?
A little bit.
But it's also probably what has helped create what you've got is that you keep going and doing until it becomes what you want it to be.
Yeah. And it's the same with working with clay. So it's sort of like I stand there and sort of put it all together, and then I'm like, okay, well, it's done now. And then it sort of comes out of the kiln. It's all a bit like, oh, I'm like, okay, so now I've got to be a bit slower and take a bit of time and go back to it. You don't have to finish it all in one go.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of learning to do that
Awesome.
now with clay as well. And
So
I'm really
clay is
enjoying
teaching you life lessons.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
this.
So
So
I've
the
found-
value of finding something like that gives you a different
Yeah.
perspective.
And you've got to slow down, otherwise it comes out a bit wonky. Which is not bad. But at the same time, it'd be nice if it was sort of like, you know, straight edges and yeah.
Do you desire the perfection of it? Or you're okay with it not
No, I'm
being
okay with it
perfect?
not being perfect.
Okay.
I'm okay with it not being perfect. But I then see it and just say to myself, okay, that's because you'd made it too fast. You were trying to do too much too quickly.
Yeah.
Which is my life story, really.
Do you see it in either of your kids?
Not that so much. I see other parts of me in the children, but not that part so much. The kids have definitely got a lot of Ben's methodical, intelligent way of thinking.
Yeah.
They've got a really nice balance of both.
So they've really evolved.
They're both very determined.
Yeah.
They're both sort of, you know, Harrison's up 4:30 in the morning to go running. Charlie's up early to do her Pilates before they go to work. So they're both very determined in the way that I am, but then they're a lot more sort of methodical in the way they do things rather than sort of me rushing through it all.
I like this though, because you're seeing the evolution of...
It's so beautiful to watch them as they go into their own little worlds and do their own thing.
They've learnt from you guys.
And they've learnt along the way, which is really nice.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
Charlie's like my fairy godmother that just tells me to slow down and did you really mean to say it like that? I don't think that was very nice.
So she makes you accountable.
Correct.
How do you cope with that?
Sometimes not great, but other times, most of the time, good.
Yep.
Most of the time, good. Because it's like looking in a mirror, listening to her.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's good.
Children are
and
our
that's
teachers.
what children should be.
Yeah.
I think.
But having that relationship that you've nurtured and built can allow that open communication.
Yeah.
If you had to give one piece of advice to someone who works in a business with their partner and has young children, what would you say to them?
Don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah. Just let it be. Let it grow. Let it build. Yeah. Take the good with the bad. It's not always going to be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't always have to look perfect. You don't have to always be perfect. And just learn along the way and take those lessons and do your building and your growing from those lessons.
Beautiful. And if we were to speak to another business owner that's struggling at the moment...
Hold on. Look at all the bits that make the business your business and work and build that foundation.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the foundation, then you can't, it's all wobbly. So it's always go back to that foundation. What do we need to solidify this? What do we need to get through this tough time? Like we always say that beach is a big ship and we've just got to get to the front of it and we've got to hold on and we've just got to sail through these waters. And that's how we look at it. And it's just like you've just got to bring everybody behind you and look after each other, stay solid and just get through because you will get through the other side.
Yeah. And life is always going to throw you
curveballs constantly.
Because just one last thing I want to bring up is how many years ago was it that we had massive king tides come through?
Oh, that was the year before COVID.
Let's not forget that. But the restaurant nearly slipped into the ocean.
Restaurants had a few really tough years. So I feel like this year's going to be different.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I really want to capsulate and hone in on. It's that optimism, but it's also optimism founded by the things the systems you've created, the foundation you've created, so that when you're throwing these curveballs, these challenges that are inevitable in life and in business, you've got sustainability and you've got the energy in the bank to be able to keep facing with clarity, because you used the word before, clarity and decision making with reason rather than chaos. Not one part of anything you've talked about has sounded like there's chaos
I can't
involved.
do chaos. I can't. It just freaks me out a bit.
Yeah.
So it's just very calm and very precise and thought about. And I think with business as well, sometimes you've got to change things to then move forward, and don't be afraid to do that.
And what do you think is that moment where you know to pivot when something's not working? What for you
I
is?
think when you see something that's not quite right, then you need to look at it and then investigate it. And then if you need to change it, you change it.
And that's without the ego.
Yeah, totally.
Hence
Totally.
why that's so
Yeah.
powerful. Coming
Yeah.
back circle
Yeah.
to that too.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So if you could reflect on the phrase, the view from here, what does the view from here mean to you?
I think for me, it means looking at things from that person that you're talking to, or for me, this is my view.
Yeah.
This is where I see it. This is how I see it.
Yeah. Beautiful. And what is the view that you see today? If you could describe your life, your work.
I think what I see today is a life that we've built that's full,
Beautiful.
that's treasured, and it hasn't come without its bad bits.
Yeah.
But it's something that we've grown to, we've built and we've grown along the way because of it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, your story is so full, so much liquid gold there.
Thank
And
you.
I just, the takeaways that I hear constantly are be authentic, know who you are, know your values, know your boundaries.
Don't try and be someone else.
And they are the things that you keep bringing into your work, into your staff, into your personal life, into who you are. But also they're the things that get you through the hard times. They're the things that help you create longevity, sustainability, legacy.
Yeah.
All the key
Don't be
things.
afraid to buckle in and get your hands dirty and just do the hard work.
And park the ego.
Yeah.
Because ego is then often what limits us.
Ego and small business don't really go together. No. And I don't think it'd be a fun match, really.
No. Well, I think that may be what then burns you out eventually.
Yeah, because you're trying to
be
you're
something
fighting
else.
it constantly. It shouldn't be a fight. It should be an easy process that it's not easy as in easy, but it shouldn't be a fight in your head. It should be something that you sort of talk through, you work through, and then you move forward.
Beautiful. And that's another takeaway, is that business isn't you get to somewhere and you're done and you've made it. Business is
constant,
ever evolving.
Yeah.
There's always every day going to be discomfort and something that you've got to resolve, and something that's moving and shifting not in the way that you had planned it to be.
You're
but
always
it's being
learning.
able to cope with those with humility, calmness, and being able to execute something with precision so that it doesn't consume you, create or build legs. Don't avoid it. Face it. And communicate.
Communication's a big one. It's a really big one.
Amazing. Well, thank you. This has
Thanks
been
for having me.
incredible.
Thanks for telling my story.
I really hope that people can see that this is another perspective on how business and life can blend together. And that you can be busy, but you're finding and evolving into other ways to grow on, finding more calm, finding more steadiness. And
believe in what you're doing.
Love what you do.
Believe in yourself.
Love what you do. Never work a day in your life.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Awesome.